Okay, well, we'll see if this whole thing works. I see some folks talking about lagging video and no sound. So we're gonna hope that you have sound. I'm looking over here and wow, you are from everywhere. Welcome. This is the 31st Annual Candlelight Walk here at Prairie Creek Redwood State Park. We're gonna be starting in a minute, but I am gonna take a couple of seconds here to do some housekeeping. I know a lot of people had emails go to their spam filters, and hope we got everybody. And of course, if you're not hearing me because it's in the spam filter, then you wouldn't be hearing me. But I'm David Reed. I'm going to be your tour guide virtually for the next hour or so. I hope that your audio is doing pretty well. I hope our video is pretty good. We're here at the Prairie Creek Redwoods State Park Visitor Center, a building that was built in the 1930s, historic building that houses our visitor center and store. This is part of Redwood National and State Parks. And right now, Joanna DiTomaso, our executive director, and I are socially distanced, about 6 feet apart, but we are keeping our masks handy. So when we're not talking, we're putting them on to keep ourselves and our families safe. Just a couple of housekeeping things. If you could put your Zoom in speaker view, you're going to have a little bit better experience. You're going to see the video that we want you to see. There is some strobing later in the program with one of our storytellers from the fire. So if you're sensitive to that, just wanted you to know that. We're really glad you're here. This was a total experiment. We hope it's working out great for you. It's scary and fun for us all at the same time. Joanna, our executive director, is going to tell you a little bit more about what this event is all about and who we are.
Thank you, David. I'm Joanna DiTomaso. I'm the Executive Director of Redwood Parks Conservancy. We're the nonprofit partner of California State Parks and the National Park Service here in Redwood National and State Parks. I'm going to talk a little bit more later about who we are, but right now I want to focus on what this virtual event is going to look like for all of you tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and imagine that some of you may have come to this event in person in the past, but judging by how many people have signed up across the country, I'm going to go ahead and say that most of you probably have not been here before. So in a normal year, our guests would arrive to this incredible visitor center and they'd come into a silent auction, the fire burning, live soft acoustic music from local musician friends of ours. And they'd be led by a park ranger along a luminary lit path through old growth redwoods here in Prairie Creek. We have over 500 luminaries that we put out, which is quite a feat. And they're led to the campfire center where they hear stories from professional local storytellers. So for this virtual event, we wanted to recreate the whimsy and the warmth and the awe of that live experience virtually for you. So some of the things we're going to experience together tonight are we're going to have footage from our luminary lit path. We'll have stories from professional storytellers and some memories from our park rangers here. We also do have a silent auction that is live on Facebook right now. I think there may be some technical difficulties, but it will absolutely be live, we promise. So as you watch tonight, you're going to see people from some different organizations and different agencies, people with different badges and uniforms. And that's because our nonprofit puts this event on collaboratively with California State Parks and the National Park Service. We could not do this event without their help. So thank you so much to them. And thanks to all of you for joining us tonight. Really, we could not have hosted this event without the incredible amount of support that we received and everyone who is signed on right now, which is an incredible amount.
It is, and there's about 600 of you out there, so hopefully our very sketchy internet here on the edge of the ancient redwood forest is going to hold for you. We're doing the best we can. First ever event of this kind back in September, and a little scary. We're learning a lot of new things. The silver lining is we got to share it with people from all over the country, up in Canada, a couple of folks from around the world, and we're learning new things. Like I said, we actually shot a bunch of video and film of the redwoods at night, and then we realized that, well, actually your eyes adjust way better than cameras do to the redwoods in the dark, and we went out and reshot it again a couple of days ago when we found out that those were just floating white lights out in the forest. So as Joanna said, we're gonna have a couple of storytellers coming up and some memories, but music has always been a big part of this event. So let's go outside. Let's take a walk on the Prairie Creek Trail and the Revelation Trail, lit by our luminaries. And Caitlin Wooling, one of our musician friends, found a little patch of redwoods to play us a song that she felt was really appropriate for this year that we've all been having. Thanks for being with us at the 31st Annual Candlelight Walk in the Redwoods. This is our first time ever doing this virtually from here at Prairie Creek Redwood State Park and Prairie Creek Redwoods Visitor Center. I'm David Reed, and this is Joanna DiTomaso. And thank you all for joining us. And thanks for all the kind comments and the notes. I I do know that some of us are experiencing some laggy video. Might have something to do with us being out here on the edge of the Redwood forest. And you're lucky because 50% of the time it rains torrentially during Candlelight Walk. And I just heard on the roof that this year is no exception. So you're missing out on the rain by doing this from home. Well, thank you for joining us. And if you're just with us, we've taken a little bit of a walk down our Redwood trails lit with luminaries and had some music. And storytellers are coming up. And that's a really big part of this event. Our first storyteller is someone who's been with us many years, Paul Woodland. And Paul told us a great story that I'll share later. But right now, he has a holiday tale from German folk tales called The Christmas Spiders.
The holiday season is filled like a stocking with traditions. Some traditions are hundreds of years old, others just beginning. Perhaps some of you have a tradition of attending the Candlelight Walk here at Prairie Creek. This story that I'm about to tell you is based on the tradition of bringing an evergreen tree into the home during Christmas. It's also the basis of a folklore of placing ornaments of spiders and spider webs on the Christmas tree as decorations. The story features a cobbler, and I'm not talking about a cherry cobbler, I'm talking about a man who makes and repairs shoes. That's his job. And he sells these shoes, and it provides for his family. His family consists of a wife and 2 children, a boy and a girl. And his home is above his shop, his cobbler shop on street level, and his home up above. He's not a wealthy man, but they're well off. Their most prized possession is their Christmas ornaments, a box of dozens of cherished ornaments that have been in the family for generations. They're intricate, delicate, some made of paper, yarn, cloth, wire, and hand-blown glass. And they all are a shape, a star, or a moon, or a flower, and each of them has a story about their origin, or perhaps who in the family made it. And the father, he recounts those stories every Christmas, and the children love those ornaments. One evening while the family was sleeping, a fire crackled and popped and an ember sparked. And that spark landed on the carpet and it began to smolder and smoke, and it woke up the cobbler. He hurried out into the living room and there was a flame on the carpet and it was crawling towards the curtains. He roused the children from their slumber. He escorted them out of the house and his wife. And then he took out a handkerchief and he covered his mouth and nose and he ran back into the house, flames lapping up the sides of the walls. He went over to the closet and he grabbed the wooden box where the ornaments were. And then he ran out of the house with the flames licking his feet. And the family was safe outside and he held the ornaments in his hands The children said, "Oh, thank you, Father. You saved the ornaments. We'll still have Christmas after all. We've lost everything else, but we'll still have Christmas." Well, this family was fortunate in many ways. Sure, they lost their home and he lost his business, but their neighbors were good, kind people. And they provided a place for them to live and some of the things they needed to survive: pots and pans, utensils, blankets, towels, food, and a mother-in-law unit that they could live in. Well, they moved into their new residence and they began to clean and straighten things up, and the wife noticed that there were cobwebs in the rafters. So she got a broom and was going to sweep the cobwebs down. And the cobbler says, "Oh, no, no, no. Don't disturb the spiders. Those cobwebs are their home. And we just lost our home in a fire. I couldn't bear to do the same to them. Please, leave them be." And so his wife agreed, although she figured she'd clean them out later. Well, they settled in, and the children went to sleep that night in their new home, and the cobbler and his wife had a conversation, discussing about how they might move forward, how to rebuild his business. "I have nothing left," he said. "I have no tools, I have no leather, I can't make shoes. What am I going to do?" And the wife said, "We have the ornaments. You could sell the ornaments and use the money to buy the things you need." "Oh, but the children love those ornaments. They've been in the family for generations. I couldn't bear to part with them." "What other choice do you have? It's all we can do." So that next morning, the cobbler got up early before the rest of the family. He took the wooden box containing the ornaments into town and he sold them. He got a good price for them and was able to buy the supplies he needed to start his business anew. And he began to make shoes and repair them and slowly rebuilt his business. And time passed and, well, it was winter. Christmas was coming. And they went out into the woods. They selected an evergreen tree. They cut it down and brought it into the house, and the children were getting excited. Soon it would be Christmas, the ornaments on the trees, and the stories that went with them. Oh, they couldn't wait. Come Christmas Eve, when it was time to decorate the tree, the cobbler had to tell them what had happened, how he had to have sold the ornaments to restart his business. "Oh," they said, "how could you, Father? How could you have sold the ornaments? This is going to be the worst Christmas ever." And the whole family went to bed in tears that night. Well, the spiders, they were in the rafters, overheard the whole conversation. As the family went to sleep, they lowered themselves down on threads into the evergreen, and they began to spin webs. They worked all night long, and as the morning sun was just coming up, they went back up into the rafters. And as the family came out into the living room, they saw the tree in the first light of the day, and it was covered in ornaments made by those spiders. Their webs looked just like the ornaments that were in the box. There was a star and a moon and flowers, and they glistened in the sunlight. And the children were ecstatic. "Oh, Papa, Papa, it's just like our regular ornaments. We're going to have a wonderful Christmas after all, thanks to those lovely spiders." And that's the story of the Christmas cobwebs, a German folk tale.
I'm Kathy Bonser, retired Executive Director of Redwood Parks Conservancy. When I think about the Candlelight Walk through the Redwoods, I think about the growth of the event through the years and the hundreds and hundreds of people I had the joy to meet and to talk with during those years. The auctions were great because they support Redwood National and State Parks, and Redwood Parks Conservancy is very involved in our communities. The best memories, though, I decided after talking with my daughter Lainey, were the ones related to the nature of the area. After the event, when all the cleanup was underway and everybody had left, she and I would walk down to the creek and stand on the bridge and look at the salmon swimming under the bridge. It's a great Christmas memory.
Hi everybody. As a park ranger, I've been lucky enough to lead night hikes in some pretty cool places like the Grand Canyon and Everglades. But I think one of my favorite night walks I ever experienced was just as a visitor, walking through the Redwoods at night for the very, very first time, and it was on the Candlelight Walk. There was so much joy and so much warmth. Even though it was a cold, rainy night, people were having a blast, and those luminaries along the trail were just so beautiful. It was a really powerful experience for me. It was lovely, and it was a really good introduction to the heart and the soul of the Redwood Coast. I hope you enjoy your Candlelight Walk experience as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Marnin Robbins. I'm the Interpretive Program Manager for the North Coast Redwoods District of California State Parks. I have been involved in interpreting and educating people about these magnificent trees for about 27 years. I began my career as a seasonal interpreter when I was 20 years old at Muir Woods National Monument, a beautiful redwood forest just a little bit north of the Golden Gate Bridge in Marin County. And I spent that first summer enamored with these gorgeous trees and felt so blessed to be able to teach people from all corners of the globe who came to that place to learn about the trees. So I have been working in and around Redwoods ever since. And 10 years ago, in 2010, I had an opportunity to climb one of the tallest trees in the world, a giant at Prairie Creek Redwood State Park that looks out over the valley. And I was able to ascend that tree as part of a project to videotape what was up there, to bring that ecosystem, that fragile ecosystem, to people all over the world, to help make sense of this place that should be protected. And today I continue that effort through working with many partners and organizations across the state to help spread awareness about what makes these places so special, so worthwhile protecting for this and for future generations.
Thanks for being with us here at the 31st Annual Candlelight Walk in the Redwoods. And thank you all for your support, because those tickets that you purchased, those registrations are supporting this park. And Joanna will tell you more about how in just a moment. But I really love Paul Woodland. He's been part of this event for a very long time. And thank you all for bearing with our challenging, I guess, internet here at Redwood National and State Parks. But we hope you are enjoying what you're seeing. Coming up, we've got one of our state parks interpreters, Skip Lowry, and our superintendents are going to join us as well. But I want to know a little bit more about you know, why this event matters and what we do. I know, but no one else does. Can you tell us?
Yeah, thanks, David. So everyone watching tonight bought tickets and or sponsored this event and supported us in some way. So you're probably wondering what exactly we do and how you're supporting us. So Redwood Parks Conservancy is an official nonprofit partner of California State Parks and the National Park Service, who collaboratively manage Prairie Creek Redwood State Park, where we are right now, which is within Redwood National and State Parks. I know that sounds complicated, and that's because it's very complicated. But that's what makes this place so incredibly special. It's that complex partnership that we're a part of. So within that partnership of Redwood National and State Parks, our nonprofit exists to support the agencies that care for this special place. So we do that in a number of ways, but probably the most relevant way for tonight is that we help with fundraising for important park projects related to education and restoration. And it's actually really fitting that we're sitting here in the Prairie Creek Visitor Center, because we are currently working with our partners to help restore this historic building, the fireplace, for example. And we're also providing funds to help with the planning and design of future educational exhibits here. So it's really exciting, and it's just an example. Those projects are being funded from individual donors and a local philanthropic organization. So it's incredible what we're able to accomplish together. So we're really excited about that. And that's just one example of what we do here.
And I really got to say, you know, the thing that touches my heart the most is the education that we help provide. My little girls are 6 and 8, and they're both junior rangers. And I know that people like you who support organizations like ours are paying for those little booklets and the little pins that our kids get when they come to our state and national parks, wherever you are in the country. Well, coming up in just a moment, we're going to have our next storyteller. This is a very special one for me. Skip Lowry is a state parks interpretive specialist at a park just south of here called Patrick's Point, and specifically in Sumeg Village, which is a restored or recreated Yurok site, an indigenous people site at a state park. And Skip has a contemporary Yurok story from his own life about passing on traditions. But before we go to Skip and our other storyteller, Allie Freedland, we wanted to hear from the guys with the flat hats, the superintendents here, Steve Metz from the National Park Service and Brett Silver from the North Coast. I never get this right. I'm going to look at it. California State Parks, North Coast Redwoods District, Deputy Superintendent.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to see folks from around the country and the world get to enjoy the Redwoods this evening. It's really quite a pleasure to see everyone being able to join us. I'd like to thank you all for joining us today and attending, and especially supporting our good friends here at Redwood Park Conservancy. The Conservancy is essential to the operation and well-being of our parks, and we just really couldn't operate and do all the great projects like Joanna just described without their help. I'd also like to offer a special thanks to our community sponsors who donated items to the auction, and to the luminary sponsors for their additional support of this event to help connect folks to the Redwood during these tough times. This year has been one of the darker years in our recent history. But just as luminaries shine brightest in the darkest of evenings, it's people like you who show up and contribute to making the world a better place that makes tonight one of the brighter spots of 2020. Just as these ancient redwoods have withstood countless trials over millennia, we too will survive this current struggle. Your support this evening will help ensure the parks are here for future generations to enjoy. I hope to see you here next year under the redwoods. Have a great evening.
Hi, everybody. My name is Brett Silver. I'm the Deputy District Superintendent for North Coast Redwoods District, and I work with Steve Metz on a daily basis in managing these areas. And I just want to thank all of you who purchased tickets in support of this event. This is the 31st Candlelight Walk, and I've been lucky enough to be work here for nearly 20 years, and I've never seen such strong support for this event. And even though it's the first virtual one, it's pretty special to see everybody from around the country, from Canada, Mexico. I caught a few of those in the chat. And it's just amazing, incredible turnout. in support of these special places of the Redwoods. And it's truly an honor to kick off this event and be a part of it with Redwood Parks Conservancy and everybody out there. And so thank you again. And I look forward to seeing everyone sometime in the future where we can meet in person on a trail or in a visitor center. And thanks again. Bye.
Ayakwi, Nekanow Skip Lowry, Nemerm Rapoi, Esi Nemerm Kneknek, Tewo Meth the Nawachek, Esi Neka Tot Wheat Meth Tewo Meth Kotma. So, hello, my name is Skip Lowry. This is my son Rapoi and my other son Kneknek. I'm an interpreter for the North Coast Redwoods District here in Northern California. I am the interpreter and the Sumeg Village steward at Patrick's Point State Park. So the Sumeg Village is a unique replicated village, Yurok village, at one of our state parks. And so I've been taught by elders how to split the redwood and to maintain the village. And then growing up as a Yurok descendant, I'm also Mountain Maidu, I am Pit River, I am Irish, and I am German. So I have a mix of ancestral blood. Growing up as a Yurok descendant, I've learned some of our language and have been a part of our ceremonies that still continue to this day. They survived the onslaught and the invasion of European immigration. And we are alive and well today. So I'm happy to share just a really quick story with you guys. And this is a contemporary story. I know some old stories that go way back, but right now I think it's really, really important, and it's a special time where the world needs to hear the testimonial justice of Indigenous people globally, because this is so much diversity and so much culture that can be shared and be learned from with each other. So our Yurok culture is alive and well, and my kids are going to help me sing a song here in a minute, but I'll tell you how I got this song really quick. So this is back in early 2000s. I was running some errands for some of my family members, and I didn't have kids. This is years ago. So I'm a Lakers fan, and so I know the Lakers were playing this one. I remember this day clearly, and I wanted to be home, like watching the Lakers, but I was running errands, and I was getting kind of angry. Like I was feeling bad, grumpy, and thinking about I'd rather be doing something for myself than helping what I'm doing right now. And I let myself get carried away like that for a bit, kind of lost track of kind of my purpose in that moment, where Yurok culture was purposefully and intentfully placed here to be in relationship with this specific geographic location. And so was I. I was specifically brought from the cosmos to the community, to my family, for reasons. and they're supposed to be good ones, you know, hopefully good ones. And so this time I was kind of whining, being a little brat about helping people in my family. And I was driving, and I remember merging onto the freeway, and I looked over my left shoulder to check, and as I turned back around, this old man was singing. E-O-A-O, 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 E-O-A-O. And it scared me. Like it was loud in my car. And it was like I looked in my rearview mirror and was expecting to see an elder singing, sitting in my back seat. And it was empty. There was nobody there. And I was shook up because the song, I could still hear the song. It was still going. E-O-A-O, 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 E-O. And I looked around in the mirror, in the rear view, till I could see myself, and it was me singing. That song was coming out of me, out of nowhere. Up to this point, I hadn't got my own song yet. I'm a singer. I love other singers in our native communities. We have some beautiful songs and powerful spirituality that's alive and well today. And it changed my life in this moment because this song came into me in a time where I needed to be helped myself. I needed to change my attitude so I could be helping in a beautiful, positive way in this world. And that's what Yurok people were put here for, to be in a relationship in a beautiful way with the world and each other. Create that balance. And so I was kind of off balance, and this song just came into my head, boom, shook me up and straightened me out. And the song means, it doesn't have words, it has emotion and feelings. It says, I'm here to help, I'm here to help, let me help, let me help. I'm here to help, I'm here to help, make me help, make me help. And so now every time I go to a brush dance, this is a healing song. You never know if you're gonna need to sing, but I have a song now that if I am needed to help in the ceremony, I have a song to help out with, and it's a helper song. I'm gonna pass that on to my kids. My oldest, Connect was, and Rapoi have been participating and going to our ceremonies, and so this song's theirs pretty much, and to hopefully give them the inspiration to, you're here to help and be happy when you are helping, because if you're helping, then it's like you're all right, you're doing all right. So would you boys help me back up this song this time?
Sure.
Okay.
May I make a statement?
You may make a statement.
And my dad sang this for me when I was a little baby in the pit.
Mm-hmm. So he had a
yeah, and
dance.
I also danced in the pit.
Mm-hmm. And now you're gonna learn the song and keep it going, huh? So I can back you up someday, huh? So they have abalone shell necklaces. You might hear a little bit of that. They're gonna tap it, hopefully, and I'm gonna share a song, and then be finished. Okay, ready? So I hope you guys enjoy the rest and of the programs, and wish you guys health and safe travels everywhere you go, and hopefully those travels bring you to our parks in person someday.
Hi, I'm Erin Gates. I am the Northern California Ports Coordinator for California State Parks, and my job is to help connect students to parks they wouldn't have a chance to visit otherwise. I love that we get to connect students to our redwood trees and our redwood forests, because these are such magnificent forests that remind us of how small we are, and how incredibly powerful nature can be. I also love seeing everything in an old-growth redwood forest is in balance. Everything has its place. Though the trees are what people come for, that they are also mesmerized by everything from the sorrel to the ferns to the birds. And redwood forests just make me feel very special, and I feel really special that I get to be working from these redwood forests.
Hi, my name is Zach Swerdling. I'm a member of the Redwood Parks Conservancy Board of Directors. I've been on this board for 8 years. I love this organization, and I love what it does on behalf of our state and federal national parks. I began working to protect the parks when I was a junior at Arcata High School in 1968. I helped organize a petition to send to the government in support of the development of the national park. I've been an advocate for the park ever since. I use the park often as a retreat, a place to find peace and enjoy the glory of nature. I want to thank everybody who's supporting us during this difficult time. Our organization is in need. There are a lot of ways you can contribute and be a benefactor to the Redwood Parks Conservancy.
Hi, my name's Brad. I'm an interpretive park ranger and educator here at Redwood National and State Parks. I've been coming to the Candlelight Walk for the past 10 years, and I'm especially grateful to the staff at Redwood Parks Conservancy and everyone else who worked together to make sure that the 31st Annual Candlelight Walk could happen this year and happen safely in spite of all of the challenges that everyone's been facing together. Now, in 10 years, I've had a lot of great memories of this event, you know. Sometimes the weather in December, it was great. It was warm and dry, and other times it poured rain on us. One year that really sticks out in particular was when the rains had come and the water in Prairie Creek under the bridge where I'm standing right now was really high. While we were setting up for the event, we could hear a lot of splashing in the creek, and we came here to this bridge and looked down and saw fish like this. This is a scale model of a Chinook salmon that swims upstream every year here in Redwood National and State Parks. That memory will always stay with me. I was so grateful to be able to share it with people like you, and I'm so grateful that everyone is participating in this year's Candlelight Walk. Thanks very much for inviting me, and have a great day.
No, not Brett Silver. Thank you for being with us at the 31st Annual Candlelight Walk, this virtual version, our first attempt at doing this. And, you know, we're doing okay. Thank you all so much for being with us. I have to say that when we were recording Skip Lowry, we had no idea what story he was going to tell. He tells so many stories as an interpreter at Sumeg Village, and we thought it might be an indigenous story about the forest or about animals. And it was so special to hear about him and his traditions passing down to his children. Coming up next, we're coming to the end of our storytellers and our evening. And if you can imagine, we're all together in this outdoor amphitheater in the Fireside Center at Prairie Creek Redwoods. Things are getting cold. We might be getting a little bit wet. And people are starting to wonder if they want to stay for that last storyteller, but this is definitely worth it. Coming to us live from really the edge of the continent, Allie Freedlund, who's been with us for several years as a storyteller, literally on the furthest west point you can be in Petrolia, California right now. 90 miles south of here, with a story from from the Redwood floor for our families and for our children.
Hi, hopefully everybody can see me. Welcome. My story is about how the wandering salamander became the canopy wandering salamander. Way down low on the forest floor, there lived two wandering salamanders. One was named Slip and one was named Trip. Trip was the girl. Now, wandering salamanders are about 3 to 4 inches long with shiny brown skin and brassy flecks. But you can't really see the brassy flecks and the beautiful salamanders because they have to hide. They don't have lungs, so they breathe through their skin. And because they breathe through their skin, they have to stay cool and moist at all times. So they hide under leaves or under rocks by the streams or under rotting logs. But they do have to come out to eat, and they come out at dawn and dusk. They love to eat ants and spiders and mites and beetles and dragonflies, among other bugs. Well, one day, Slip and Trip were out foraging at dawn, looking for ants and spiders and mites and beetles and dragonflies, when out of nowhere came a red-tailed hawk and grabbed Slip and started lifting Slip straight up this trunk of this big old redwood tree. And Slip yelled down at Trip, "Trip, I love you. Oh, goodbye." And Slip thought, oh my goodness. I mean, I knew how I felt about Slip, but now I'm finding how he felt about me, and I've lost him. I found my love and I lost him. And she looked and watched as that hawk went up, 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 up to a really high branch and landed. And then, oh, poor Trip. And in a few minutes' time, she saw that hawk disappear, fly out of there. Well, I guess that was that. Wait, I think I hear Slip. And she thought she heard something way up there. And that just, she became the savior of Trip. I am going to go rescue him. And up she began to climb on that trunk of that redwood tree. Now, wandering salamanders have these most amazing toes. They're squared off and they're like suction cups, and they're good at climbing vertical surfaces. Up and up and up she went. Well, she got up there and she started to slow down. Because you see, she was exposed on the outside of this huge trunk of this redwood tree, and her skin was drying out and she couldn't breathe very well. And then she saw a branch and she thought, well, I'll just go die there. She got right up to the branch, and right there where that branch connected to that large trunk of the tree, there was this little divot of water. So she splashed right in and breathed again and felt like, I can do this. Because you see, at the place where the branch connects to the old trees, the rain comes down the trunks of the trees and makes this divot after a while where water just stays. So she went from branch to branch to branch to branch, and finally she was almost to Slip's branch. And she started thinking, well, maybe I drained it all. Oh no, is he really there? Slip, are you there? And on the branch, Slip looked down. Trip, you've come for me. You've come to me. Oh, you must care for me too. Now, this is what I want you to do. Go with your left foot and your right foot and your back foot and your left foot and your right foot. And Trip thought, I know how to do this. I've already climbed this high. Just, you know. And she got up to the branch that Slip was on, slipped into that little pond, and they fell into a circular embrace and then fell asleep underneath a fern mat. Well, pretty soon Trip woke up and looked around like, where am I? I don't want to go down. She was 150 feet off the ground, but on that branch were live growing things that had nothing to do with redwood trees. Why? There was huckleberry bushes. There was a dogwood tree growing out of the branch. There was soil and fern mats and epiphytes. And there were earthworm worms and ants and spiders and mites and beetles and dragonflies. Oh, she thought, I couldn't stay up here then. This is great. And there's this little pond over here. And then she just stared at Slip, stared. Whoa. And then Slip woke up. What? What is it, Trip? What is it? Well, I just have one question. Can you please tell me, why did the hawk leave you up here? Oh, I see. Well, that's because when we got up here, the hawk was about to eat me, and I said, hey, dude, if you know what's good for you, you won't eat me because I'm poisonous. And then the hawk lifted me up in its talon and saw that I did not have an orange belly. And he smashed me down. He said, yeah, you're my lunch now. And all I could think of to do was to foam at the mouth and get all gross. So when he picked me up to eat me again, I was just this foaming mass of spit. And he went, ew! And he flew off. And so here I am. And Trip said, oh, Slip, you are one amazing salamander. I mean, to think on your feet like that, wow. And Slip said, well, does that mean that that you're gonna stay up here with me and be my partner? And Trip said, uh-huh. And that is what happened. They stayed up there and they had more wandering salamanders, and they became the canopy wandering salamanders that live way up in these big old trees. And some of them never touch the ground. And that is the end of my story. Thank you so much.
Ranger Michael, and I love redwoods in winter. After several busy summer months of growth and visitation, winter is a time for relaxation and perhaps most importantly, rehydration. Kind of like you after an intense workout, it's time to take a break and take in lots of water. And that's what these trees all around me are doing right here, right now. They get the vast majority of their annual water needs here in winter. Now, if you can't visit in winter, we get it. But if you really want to commune with redwoods right now, might I suggest a tall and cool glass of water.
Hey, my name is Ryan. I'm an interpreter too with the North Coast Redwoods District, and redwoods have been an important part of my life as long as I've been alive. I had grandparents that lived in Humboldt County when I was growing up, and my family would spend many weekends and holidays visiting them. I lived in the North Bay area, and so it was a short drive to visit the Redwood region. We would go up the Avenue of the Giants on our way up, and as kids we would just be plastered to the windows of our station wagon, just staring out at these redwoods under this immense curtain of these old growth trees. It never got old. My grandparents lived just right near a little grove of redwoods in the town of Rio Dell, and we would go out there sometimes. I tasted my first redwood sorrel in that grove. We spent a lot of time going to the surrounding parks, Humboldt Redwood State Park specifically. When I got a little older, my family moved to eastern Napa County, where we lived right alongside the most inland grove of redwoods. And as a teenager and a young adult, I spent a lot of time hiking out there and finding swimming holes and springs. And eventually I made my way up to Humboldt Redwood State Park to study interpretation, and spent a lot of my days off and time off up at Prairie Creek Redwood State Park, down at Humboldt Redwoods, even just in our local community forest. Redwoods have always been a part of my life, and they've always inspired me, and that was the reason that I wanted to commit myself to being an interpreter here in Redwood regions, and being able to connect people to our redwood parks and this amazing ecosystem, and hopefully inspire people to be stewards of them and to delve deeper into the story of these beautiful ecosystems.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Ryder.
And I'm Grace. And I'm Real.
And I'm on RPC's board of directors because it's important to me that we help connect people to the redwoods, and people value and protect what they love. The redwoods are such a unique ecosystem, and walking among them truly puts life into perspective. The Candlelight Walk is one of our favorite holiday traditions. Grace, what's your favorite part about the Candlelight Walk?
Well, I like how beautiful it is, and I like walking along the trail of light, and I like all of the fresh air. I just love it.
Well, we'll miss being able to be there in person this year. We're happy to be able to share this evening virtually with all of you.
Happy holidays! Happy holidays!
Thank you so much for being with us tonight at this total experiment of a 31st annual Candlelight Walk in the Redwoods here at Prairie Creek Redwoods State Park. Thank you for what you did. I know that for some people this felt like a ticket to an event, but for us it is a great donation, and you will do a lot with those donations. I really want to thank you all in a tangible way. So we're going to send every one of you a annual membership to Redwood Parks Conservancy and an email that'll explain what that does and what that means. And you'll actually be able to use one of the benefits wherever you are in the United States at one of your own parks, whether it's a national park or a state park. We've got some great things we couldn't use tonight, and some of the video tonight was jaggy because of our challenging internet. So please go see some of the extras that we're compiling right now. Go to redwoodparksconservancy.org, go to the Candlelight Walk page, and there's a whole collection. There's this Padlet full of 360 videos that we couldn't use tonight, stories, people's own personal memories, and a whole lot of other things that we couldn't show you. We do have an auction going on right now. We've just been informed that most of our items fell off of Facebook for some reason. We're hoping it comes back tonight or tomorrow morning. If you'd like to help us out even more, go to our Facebook page. You can just find us under Redwood Parks and bid early and bid often. I want to thank all of our sponsors, our underwriters, our care package donors. Thank you, luminary sponsors, 50 or 60 of you watching tonight who gave $100 to sponsor one of our luminaries. And we have other people to thank too.
Yeah, I just want to take a second and thank our incredible staff for putting on this event. I'm fortunate as the executive director, I get to sit here and talk about all the fun things we do, but it's really our staff that are actively doing that incredible work. And it's them that put on this event and did all of that work. So thank you to David and our incredible Debbie White, who worked so hard on this event, and Kristen and Steve for all of their behind the scenes work. So thanks to them, and thanks to all of you for being here with us. We had a great time here together, and hopefully you had a great time too.
And people have been asking about the recording. The recording will be available of the event, if not tomorrow, by Monday, and we'll send you an email with a link to that recording, plus all the extras so you can watch some of these videos, maybe in a little bit smoother form. We're going to take one last walk out of the Fireside Center, out of the amphitheater, and down the Luminary Trail. And it's a lot darker now in the Redwood Forest, so you're going to be lit by just the luminaries. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. Thank you for your support. Please have a good night. Have a great winter, a great holiday, a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah. Thank you all.